Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the Equalizer 3, and this is the third and probably final edition in Anton Fuqua's adaptation of this 80s television series, and starring Denzel Washington as Robert McCall, who is a very dangerous man who gets involved in trying to level the playing field when people of lesser control and power are put into horrible situations, and he takes down bad people. Does that make him a good person or a bad person? That's the big question at the center of this film thematically, and I think this film, written by Richard Wenk, based off of the characters from this series, I think that this film tackles that kind of question in a really effective way. I think the film in general is pretty formulaic. It's the, hey, this is a dangerous man hiding out in a place and really falls in love with the place. And then bad things start happening. It's very much Shane in a nutshell. Will he get drawn back into this story? And it hits those beats. I do appreciate that Fuqua takes the time to really build up the tension and build up the connection with this place. I fell in love with this place as an audience member, and it makes a lot of sense that Robert, or Roberto, as he's going by in this small Sicilian town, it stands out to him as well. The opening sequence of this film is intense, haunting, and so well shot. The action here is violent, it is brutal. Like, Robert McCall is basically a slasher killer, just straight destroying human beings along the way. And he is a dangerous man, and you feel that so impactfully. I do feel like some of the pacing, which takes its time throughout most of the film, it gets to the third act and runs through like the last pieces of this film to the point where I'm like, is it really climaxing at this point? So yeah, sure, it might be a little uneven. Sure, the story might be a little expected and formulaic. And I do think that whenever Robert's not on screen, it does take a step down or two in terms of my interest, because what was going on wasn't as interesting. And I think the grander scope of the story gets a little muddled in terms of like how Dakota Fanning fits in, David Denham, and the bigger investigation going on. But overall, you get so drawn into this core story, and it's so well thought out and realized thematically. And Denzel Washington is an absolute force to watch on screen. And you have charming performances from Gaia Scodelario, who runs a little cafe, Remo Girone, who plays Enzo the doctor, who nurses him back to health, and all these other characters in this small town. You feel invested, you feel connected. And the action is thrilling, it's suspenseful. There's moments that border on like a horror movie, because the tension is so steep here. But Denzel Washington absolutely digs into this role yet again, absolutely kills it, is so charismatic and so engaging to watch. I think this film, if this was the last one, really sets up McCall in a great way to move on. And I felt so satisfied watching this film and how it played out. It was quite a cathartic experience to the payoff to the story that is at the core of this film. Overall, it's sleek, it's intense. The music gets like unnerving when things start ratcheting it up. It all works in those ways. Despite the fact that it has some obvious flaws, this was a real thrill ride that I greatly appreciated. But those are my thoughts on The Equalizer 3. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.